Today, our our hero or the focus is Renee, and Renee's focus is all of you all. So thank you for joining. Renee works with fractional professionals, and I alluded to this a little earlier. She has a community that she's developed of her own. I'll drop links to it. But she does some fantastic work with fractionals, helping them identify what their superpower is, which, if you are new to the fractional business, you will realize that it is a hard thing to do. And then how do you package it into an offering? She's a founder of Fractional Referral Network, and the International Association of Fractional Professionals. So we have an expert in the room today. My name is Sue Belagodu. I am one of the founding members of Sidebar. Outside of Sidebar, I am the managing partner of my own fractional business called Intellectus. I built and sold an AI native product 2 years ago, and now I work with other founders through the same journey. Thank you all for being here today. And Renee, all yours. I think we have about 37 people. It's a good time for us to
Okay,
get
that's a
started.
yeah.
Uh, I'm going to go ahead and share your slides. Is this a good time for us to do that?
I'll give me 1 second.
Okay.
I'll tell
All
you
right,
when.
go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Wonderful to have you here. I'm really thrilled. Today we're gonna basically we're gonna do we're gonna you'll walk away with three things. So, being good at something, being good at what you do for a living isn't the same as being easy to hire. So today we're going to make sure that it's very clear the problem that that you have clarity around the problem you're trusted to fix, that you have a clear offer to build around it, and a simple way to start conversations so that you can keep your business going. I'm very passionate about helping people stay self-employed. If you want to be self-employed, you have to learn some basic things to have a sustainable and scalable business. So whether scaling is in your not everybody wants to scale, but if you but everybody who wants to be self-employed would like to stay self-employed, because there's nothing like the beautiful freedom that comes with being able to dictate your day. How many of you, raise your hand if you like being your own boss? Give me a hand. Yeah, show me your, because I can see faces. Or you can do a thumbs up or whatever. Yeah, right? Everybody loves that, right? This is what we're all about, the freedom and the flexibility of being able to do the things that we love. And so that's incredibly important. And I'm very passionate about helping people make their dreams come true that way. So that's what this session is really all about. So, first slide, Sue. The first thing we're going to do, I'm just going to get right into it because I'm not one to waste time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to extract your superpower. We're going to figure out what's that thing. What is that one thing that people go to you for? What do they? It's not the thing you do for a living, but it's the thing that, if there's a problem that's got to be fixed in around your career, of course, like in around your area of expertise. What's that one thing that people want you to fix? So it's not your skill set so much as the problem that you're trusted to fix. And I want you to look at, um, you know, I want you to look at there's a formula there on that first slide. Okay. So what you're trusted to fix, and I help who fix what specific problem so that they can do whatever. I want you to write that in the chat box, and I will read up a few here and there. So I help who fix what. So I help fractionals um, uh, create stable businesses so that they can stay self-employed. So that would be my line, right? So what would be your line? I help who fix what specific problem?
Folks,
And just
contribute
write them in the
and
chat box.
participate. So what Rennie is going to do is also help some people through today to fine tune their superpowers. So we'll pick a few. We have an hour together. So go ahead and participate and contribute.
Yes, write them in the chat box, and then I can pull them up here and there and we can refine some of them. But yeah, you have to participate. This is not a passive exercise. Don't make me kick your ass. There we go. I help people connect with each other and their purpose. That is very wishy-washy, Kamal. So we're going to refine that one. What kind of people and what kind of connection? What's the problem you're solving, Kamal? Can Kamal unmute himself a little bit?
Hi.
Hi, Kamal.
Specifically, like, hi, Kamal Hans from Boston. I work for USAA as a enterprise transformation director. So in the transformation, the whole thing is all about connections. And how I made those things happen is connect people with each other to learn from each other, as well as understand what is the purpose that we are all connected so we can achieve those goals.
So what's the big problem you're solving?
The silos that they are working in, that they
Okay.
have the silos in their own departments. So that's
Okay.
the problem that I'm trying to solve.
So let's dig a little deeper now. We're going to look at what's the problem that those silos cause.
uh, that silos call the repetition of the work, as well as not understanding how their work is connected with the bigger goal that what we want to achieve. So they are just working on what they think is right, but not as a whole.
Okay. So who is your ideal client, Kamal?
Mostly the people who are at the level directors, senior directors, AVPs.
Are they the people paying you?
They are the ones that who hire me for some of those items.
So are you coaching or what are you doing exactly?
So identifying what are their challenges in the operations and
Okay.
streamlining their operations so that they can be more efficient and effective.
Okay. And so are you like an operations specialist?
Product operations specialist.
Product operations specialist. Okay. So I help. I gotta see things written out. I'm a visual person.
Can I help?
Yeah. Um,
So Kamal, did you see? Sorry, I have one down here, and I
okay.
because I also do product and
Oh,
operations and
okay.
things, and I've actually
Okay.
done some of these also, like these painkiller statements where you insert.
Okay.
So
Good.
mine is a tiny bit more focused. We help product and tech teams fill gaps and work more efficiently so they can deliver better business results. So it's like a tiny bit more specific than Kamal's, but I think I could even be more
It-
detailed based on what I'm seeing
yes.
with some of the other ones. But it takes it like two steps further, the type of teams I'm helping. And
Yeah.
we're filling gaps, like we provide specific gap coverage when they're trying to hire. And we help them work faster and spot optimization opportunities, specifically so that they can deliver results more closely to the goals that those companies are trying to achieve, um, versus driving customer outcomes or something specific like that. So, Kamal, specific to like what you're talking about, you can see the difference between ours at least, but I could probably go a different direction with mine and be more
It,
specific to certain things as well. So
I
sorry to
I would
jump in,
say
Renee.
Makes sense.
it's okay. I would say to everybody, make it as tight as possible. One thing you can think about when you think about your key decision maker. So in many cases, it's a CEO, but whoever is paying you, what are they losing sleep over at night? What's got them losing their minds? Because it's usually going to be tied to money, productivity, which it ends up going back to money. Not being able to grow, not being able to do something, the bottlenecks, the inefficiencies, losing customers. I can keep you from losing customers by showing your teams how to communicate effectively. And sometimes another way to instead of using that formula whereas I help who fix what. You can also take it and turn it around and frame it as a question. If it's easier for you to express it that way. So, for example, imagine you're in a networking meeting and someone says what you do, asks you what you do. Rather than saying something kind of vague, you know what you do. It doesn't sound vague to you, but to people who have no idea what, they need to know what industry you're working in. They need to know about a specific problem. So sometimes you can say something like, how such and such a problem shows up in this and that industry. So you know how work teams always seem to be doing their own thing and everybody's dancing to a different drum beat, and they go, yeah, I can relate to that. You see, and then you say, well, I fix that. I help teams communicate better and get on the same page so that companies can scale faster and get things done and retain customers, or whatever the problem, whatever the end problem is. That's the so that. Does that sound better, Kamal?
Yeah, no, definitely
can
makes
can
sense.
you frame it that way very quickly?
Yeah,
Just rough.
so
I know it's short notice here.
yeah, no worries. Yeah, no worries. So I would reframe it to I help product and technology leaders to connect with each other so that they can deliver the business value collectively better for their customers.
Okay, that's much
Yes.
better. So focus just a little more on removing the problem from the situation, right? So when they're not focused, what happens? Customers get angry, customers get pissed off, they leave so that they can retain more customers, perhaps, something like that. Anu is asking a question. How do you refine if there are a lot of things you can do to help someone? You got to pick one problem. You can't be everything to everybody. If you try to be everything to everybody, you're going to be nothing to nobody. So you pick one thing that you're really good at, and one problem that a company really needs solved. So they might need 10,000 different things solved, but what's the one big fat burning thing? Because that's the thing they're going to pay for. Companies pay for outcomes. They don't pay for airy fairy bullshit or nebulous maybes. They don't pay for that. They'll only pay to have a specific problem solved. And that's going to move into our next section in a minute. We'll talk a little bit more about that. I just want to go through a couple more of these. So pick one problem, Anu. That's the simple answer. I help companies fix their finances and slash operations before things go south. Okay. Um, and what let's think about another thing is what's going on in a company when you step in is another thing that you need to kind of think about, and we'll get to that as well today later. We help product and tech teams, Jessica Nelson, Cole. We help product and tech teams fill gaps and work more effectively so they can deliver better business results. Fill gaps and work more efficiently. Okay, so let's tighten that one up, Jessica. You want to take your microphone off a little?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so we help product and tech teams fill gaps. What kind of gaps?
We cover parental leave. We fill hiring gaps when they're struggling to find the right people. When they're experiencing turnover.
Okay, so you're in HR?
Nope. So it's like when they're looking for
What's
really
okay,
specific
let's talk about what's your area of expertise, Jessica?
product and tech, product
Product and
management.
tech. All right, I was just talking to you. Sorry, I'm a little bit dense.
That's okay. Um,
So, so we product and tech teams fill gaps and work more efficiently so they can deliver better business results. So you need to be specific about the specific type of gaps or the
hiring gaps.
scenarios or
Hmm.
the scenarios, because gaps can be a lot of things. So hiring gaps, okay. So they can build maybe instead of deliver better consistent business results, what about consistent business results?
Hmm.
Or even better still, grow your business by a percentage. If you can tie your outcome to a number, that's even better. You know, um, get get 5 clients in 30 days, for example,
Mm-hmm.
is or get 5 prospects in 30 days, something like that as a tangible
Mm-hmm.
outcome. So think in terms of what you can do, that's a little bit more tangible. I help,
Yes, some of these statements in the past of mine have been very long.
yeah,
When
they
I
need to
try to
be
get
tightened. And
when I try to
I
get
have,
specific.
yeah, I have a GPT I'm going to give everybody at the end of this thing. And I also have um, an opportunity for you if you want to work with me one-on-one just for like 90 minutes. You'll get a GPT with that as well that will help you refine your core offer. But we'll get to
Okay.
that later as well. Samaya, I help stakeholders fix lack of clarity in complex technical challenges so we can create successful business outcomes. Okay, that sounds like a mouthful. If a 10-year-old can't repeat it, if a 10-year-old doesn't, or let's say even a 12-year-old couldn't repeat that, if this is what mommy or daddy does, and they couldn't begin to say that, then you know that you've got it wrong. Think about people when you go into a meeting. People are tired. People have things going on in their lives and their families. They had a fight with their spouse. Their mother is dying. Their dog's going to the vet. They just crashed their car. Shit happens to everybody all the time. And then you take a crowded room. Maybe you didn't sleep well last night. Maybe English isn't your first language. It could be a lot of things that are um, making it harder for people to remember what you do. So you have to be memorable. And this is where the question format really comes in handy because it automatically allows us, we remember things we can relate to. But being very specific, Samaya R, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I'm unmuted.
There you are. Okay, I help my stakeholders. So who are your stakeholders? Because if I don't know who your bloody stakeholders are, how can I give you a referral?
Okay, CXOs.
Right?
Yeah.
So I need to be able to give you a referral. I need to be able to know if you're the right person for me. Am I a stakeholder? Is my neighbor's dog a stakeholder? Like what is that? Who is that? And then lack of clarity in complex technical challenges. So what is the problem that's coming because they don't have clarity? You understand? How is that manifesting?
Okay.
Right? Um, so uh, tell me,
Confusion.
okay, let's start with the first part. Who are your stakeholders?
CXOs.
CXO. So I help CXOs. So what's the X? Is anybody, any chief, anybody officer?
Yeah, any chief, anybody
Okay. So I
officer.
help corporate leaders.
Okay.
Okay. I help corporate leaders understand tech better so that they can.
So that they can create a successful business impact with the
Okay,
fixes.
there has to be a specific outcome. So a successful business impact is too general. It's got to be specific.
Increase
What's
growth.
what's the big pain that the CEO is rolling around in bed worried about? What does he want to do or she want to do?
Increase profits.
Okay. So um so are you able to help them increase profits by giving them, and what does clarity around technical challenges work? What does that mean? What's
Okay.
happening in the company that's getting in their way? Are they not reading their data correctly? Are they they've got too many systems that are not talking to each other? What's going on?
I help corporate leaders bring together technology, operations, and finance to create better profits for the business. I need to work it a little bit more.
You do. So at least you're knowing that. At least you see that. So
Yep.
again, thinking about what your superpower is exactly. what's the product that you can sell for them? Like because people buy solutions, right? They don't buy vague services. They don't want to pay for your time. They want to pay for an outcome. So what's the specific outcome that you can create? What's the painful problem that you're solving for them? Can you come up with one for me real quick? A little tighter.
I help corporate leaders define their decision-making process that leads to increased profits.
Try again.
I need to write it down. Give me a couple of seconds.
Yeah. The other thing you can do if you want to cheat, open up
Go ahead.
ChatGPT or something on another window and say, think like a kick-ass marketer and refine this statement for me.
Okay, fair enough.
If you
Let me
have
do
a
that.
relationship with ChatGPT and ChatGPT knows what you do for a living, it can help you. If it doesn't know what you do for a living, and if your relationship with ChatGPT is about other things, it won't do a very good job. But my GPT will help you because it's programmed to think the right way for you.
I can,
Yeah, I'll log in. You can continue with the others. I'll log in, give it to ChatGPT, and get back in a minute.
Okay. All right. So, Allison, I help departments fix confusing, outdated, or inefficient processes before they turn into compliance issues, rework, or wasted time. Okay, that's pretty good. Allison, unmute yourself and tell me what's your area of expertise, because it's not apparent by your statement.
Renee, and I just dropped the LLM, your custom GPT, because I don't think we'll be able to go through a lot of folks.
Okay. All
So
right.
just drop it so they can do it by
Okay.
themselves as
I will
well.
move on to the next phase then. If you want us to move
Oh,
on, we
do
can.
you want to wrap up Allison's?
I
Allison,
was
if
going
you
to help Allison first, but
okay.
I didn't hear anything from Allison. Allison, are you with us or no? She's not. So I'm not going to worry
Okay.
about it. Okay.
All right.
So let's go to section 2 then. So we want to turn our problem into a clear offer. Okay. So you must be able to name what it is you do. There needs to be a time frame and there needs to be a result. So if you look at the examples on the slide here, I can't see it very well. Thank you. Read those
I
out to me, Sue.
I got you. So the example is reduce system risk in 30 days for organizations with unstable infrastructure. Fix operational bottlenecks in 45 days for companies struggling to scale. Reduce regrettable turnover in 60 days for scaling teams losing key talent.
So you have to think about what's the outcome you're producing, and what's the time frame you're going to produce it in, and what is the context. So what's going on in the company when you do that? So we're refining our offer a little bit more. So this is where we're creating a product or something that we're selling, because people aren't going to buy your time, they're going to buy outcomes. And the CEO has to be able to understand this in about 10 seconds. I help digital health CEOs build high-performing teams and systems so your company can scale growth profitably. Okay, that's from the last one. Okay.
Randir, you want to apply this slide to it and reshare with Renee?
Yeah, I'm doing this on the fly.
Yeah.
We're all on the fly.
Yeah.
but the diagnostic that GPT will, it does more than just help you. It's the core offer GPT that's going to really help you, which is the one that you get with the one-on-one with me. But this is also very good. It will give you a lot of it'll help you figure out why your pipeline is not working.
So what you're trying to do with this is to put more of a time frame, so make the offer and the solution more defined, so they know what's coming and when.
That's right.
Okay. So maybe I would tweak mine at least to say, um, be able to come up with a diagnostic and a plan to scale profitably within 30 days.
Okay. Say it again.
Create a diagnostic and a plan to scale
Mm.
profitably within 30 days.
Okay. So we'll have a look at your whole company, and this is what we're going to do. And by the end of 30 days, you're going to have this, or you're going to scale it within 30 days.
You're going to have a diagnostic and a plan within 30 days.
Ready to go. Okay.
Ready to
Within
go.
30 days. Good. Okay, good. How do you know this without knowing what their specific problem is? Well, if you're going into a company, you need to go in knowing the problem that you're solving. People are calling on you to solve a specific problem. You can't go to a company and say, I'm a whatever, I'm a CXO or whatever, and I'm just going to see what problems you have and I'll fix them for you. That will go nowhere. So you have to know what is going on in a company when you and what problem you are actually really good at solving, because you don't want to go into a company and find out that they've got 5 problems and you can't fix any of them, right? So you go in with a conversation around a specific problem that's keeping the CEO awake at night. And you may go in and do a diagnostic and come up with a plan and that sort of thing. That's fine. That's a foot in the door. That's not a bad thing at all. But to go in and just sort of let me see what your problem is, that it can't be that way. You have to talk about the symptom that's bringing you in the door anyway. Like when you go to the doctor, you have a sore whatever, a sore side. Is it your liver? Is it your heart? They're like, what's going on? The doctor asks questions. You do tests, and then you have a solution that's brought to you, hopefully. So I help health systems fix clinical operations, I guess, so they can innovate and okay, this is a very messy one. Health systems will launch in a hospital program 12 months, which, okay, Jessica, that's got to be super tight. Think about what part of clinical operations, because it can be a lot. Clinical operations can be a lot. So they can innovate decentralized care models. Okay, tighten your sentence. Tighten up your thing there, Jessica. It's very long and convoluted. Try to use that simple formula. Kunjal, take one. I help sales teams sell effectively by focusing on outcomes and business value to improve win rates. Take 2, help high growth sales teams have a customer outcome and value focused sales process in 90 days. Okay, I like your take 2 better than your take 1. It's more specific. And okay, so Maya, from my GPT, fed to Renee's GPT, I assist corporate leaders in transforming scattered product technology and financial data into quick, clear decisions that boost profitability. Not bad. You can ask it to make it tighter still. They're all helping founders structure their marketing plans so they reach the ideal customer to not miss out on revenue. Okay, so now we want to talk. What we're talking, Daryl, we're talking now about specific time frames. So how are you doing it? So now that you know what you do, how do you get there? So this phase 2 is about how you're creating you're presenting a solution, because people won't pay for time. You don't position yourself as an employee. Position yourself as a problem solver with a solution that's packaged and ready to go. I help companies fix fragmented communications, cultural disconnects, and low employee engagement so they achieve stakeholder favorability, alignment, and drive measurable impact. Okay, Sue, Negocian. It just needs to be tighter. You're on the right track. It needs to be tighter. Think simple language, because people with tired brains don't have the mental energy to decode long words and long sentences. So simple language, simple sentences, and so tighten that up. But you're on the right track. And again, time frame it. You got to have a time frame. Bring product and technology teams together to eliminate silos and align on most valuable work backlog in 30 days. Okay. Be specific about the most valuable work backlog. What is the most common problem there? Kamal?
Because sometimes the value can be a perception. So what technology thinks is most valuable and what product thinks is most valuable does not align. So how do we create that alignment?
Okay, hold on. I lost you there. Okay, there it is. Bring product and technology teams together to eliminate silos and align with the business objectives, or align with the vision or the mission of the business or company objectives. Rather than being vague, be very specific about, what exactly they're aligning with. So instead of the most valuable work backlog, because that's going to look different to everybody. So I can uncover bottlenecks and get everybody moving in the same direction within 30 days, something along that line. I help high growth companies build the systems, processes, and operating infrastructure required to scale without relying on chaos in 30 days. Okay. Again, we can tighten that one up a little bit more. I help high growth companies build the systems, processes, and operating infrastructure. Instead of saying without relying on chaos, you can just say smoothly.
Renee,
keep it.
a follow-up question on that one. So I'm seeing folks put in product and technology teams, high growth teams. Would you say that's narrow enough, or should it be more focused, as in which leader? Because I think earlier you alluded
I
to.
think, yes, I think that the narrower the better, right? So, but the first thing is the first part is your statement to the company about what you do, and the second part is creating the product. So what's the problem? What is the exact problem the product solves? So you need to be specific about the exact problem you are your solution is solving, and give it a time frame and a context. Right? So a sales process, so a defined sales process for sales teams that maybe have been winging it for too long, right? So a lot of small companies, for example, they're kind of shit shows in the making. They're actually really good prospects for fractionals, because they have a lot of things that are not well done. They're sort of successful in spite of themselves. And when you come in with your big corporate experience, you have a way then to give them a structure that they haven't had before. If you can articulate that into a product that produces a specific solution and gives them a a specific pathway to achieving an outcome. This is what you want to do. You want to sell a pathway to a particular outcome. And that's what that statement is meant to do.
I think Samya has her hand raised.
Okay, where are you, Samya?
Thanks,
Samya,
Renée and
I
Sue.
can't see what you wrote, but you can talk. Samaya?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the question I have is, I believe that it's the combination of making it understandable to a 10-year-old and
Yes.
bringing all these elements and keeping it concise that is sounds conflicting. So if you can give some pointers as to which is more important, that a 10-year-old understand it or the corporate our stakeholders understand it, and where to make trade-offs, it might help me at least.
When I say a 10-year-old should be able to understand it, I just mean use simple language. So don't
Okay.
use big words. Use the shorter words that people will remember.
Okay.
The less mental energy used to understand what you do, the better. So you don't have to speak like the university graduate that you are. You can just speak in simple terms, and that's the language that requires less mental energy and is more apt to be remembered.
Makes
So
sense.
the simpler your sentences, the better.
Okay.
The smaller the words, I mean, without making it like ridiculous, right?
Yeah, I get
Like,
it. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. So just keeping it kind of simple. No jargon, no acronyms, exactly. Yeah. No big long 4-syllable words. Try to keep your words 1 to 2 syllable words in
Yep.
and in as few words in a sentence as possible. I help companies bridge internal communication gaps across cultures and regions so their team feels more engaged, proud, and motivated. Okay, better. Now, companies, in my experience, don't buy motivation, but you're selling employee engagement services, Sue? You can unmute yourself, Sue. Sue,
Yep, I got you.
there
Can you
you
hear
are.
me okay?
Thank you. Yeah, Sue with the long
Sorry.
end name.
Yes.
Negocient?
Yes, thank
Oh,
you.
I
That's a
got it
better way
right.
to say it. Yeah, it's really employee engagement with the business, right? Get them
Right.
engaged and drive the business forward. So pride also is a key element, but
Right.
motivation is equally.
Okay.
I mean, that is a result of having confidence in the direction that the company is heading. That's why I added it, because you can be
Okay.
engaged but not necessarily motivated.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, disengaged employees cost, as you probably well know,
Yeah.
American companies over $400 billion every year.
Yep.
And only, if I recall correctly, there's I think it's about 17% of employees are typically engaged, if I remember. I wrote a book a long time ago called Engage for Growth, and I used to
Mm.
teach leadership and my engagement. So I know a little bit about the subject, but I haven't been into it much in the last decade or so. So,
Mhm.
so again, sell the business outcome because they care less, unfortunately. They should care more. But the reality is a lot of business leaders don't care a lot about your employees are feeling proud and engaged and motivated, but they do care about the loss of money, the turnover, the cost of turnover, the cost of fouled production because people don't give a shit and they make mistakes. You know what I mean? So those
Mhm.
other costs tied to employee engagement. So I bridge the internal communication gaps in companies so that they can reduce waste or retain more customers or retain more staff. So some kind of a hard outcome. And then
Mhm.
within a particular amount of time, I can give you a particular way to do this. So I can fix your internal communications problems within X number of days. you know.
Definitely not 60.
No.
That's what I was struggling with. I was like, geez.
But you can put a plan together
Right,
that gives them
right.
a pathway to doing that, you know.
Mm,
So within 90 days, what's your first outcome going to be? Right? So
yeah,
you have
yeah.
certain KPIs, and this is for everybody, okay? As you're creating your product, there are certain KPIs that you will need to hit over a certain period of time. So what's the first KPI? What's the second KPI? What's the third? That can be 3 different products. You
Yeah,
see? But you don't want
yeah.
to you can't hit them all at once. So I can
Right.
achieve this in 30 days, that in 60 days, that in 90 days, that in 120 days, and so on.
Love it. Thank you.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
something like that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's move to section 3
Renee,
now, Sue.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
just gonna say, oh my gosh, time went by
we gotta
so
get
fast.
going. Yeah.
We have about 15 minutes left, so I'd love to kind of, go. Yeah,
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah.
Do you see?
This isn't going to take too long.
Okay.
So we're going to turn our offer into conversations. So you don't really need better outreach. What you need is a better way to talk to people. A lot of the time, you need a better reason to talk to people. So if you don't understand what's going on in a company, you have, for example, you're selling widgets and you stand on the street corner and you say, hey, want to buy a widget? Want to buy a widget? Want to buy a widget? How many widgets do you think you will sell? Probably none at the end of the, and it might take you months and you still will sell none because you're not talking to the right people. Now, if you go to a factory that needs your widget and you've got a special widget that maybe it is self-lubricating and doesn't need as much maintenance and doesn't break as often as the regular widgets, now you've got a special product that solves a specific problem. Do you get it? And so then the conversation you have with the owner of the factory is, you know how widgets that get rusty and break and crack because they dry up, and you spend so much money on lube and this and that, and then you shut down production and you're behind schedule on delivering product and so on and so forth. I can fix that. Does this ever happen to you? And they go, yeah, our widget's all dried up and cracked last week. So that's your trigger, you see? So now we're not selling widgets. So what is the trigger that happens in a company that would cause someone or cause you to know that this is the time for you to step in? It can be staff changes, it can be layoffs, it can be tariffs, it can be wars, bottlenecks in production. I mean, everyone solves a different problem, right? And so think about, I want you to write in the chat box, what is the trigger? When do people call you in? What is going on? When their hair is on fire, what are they running around? What's happened? What is the best time to call you into a company? So for the lady I was talking to about employee engagement, maybe the best time is when you've got a lot of turnover and you notice that they're always hiring people, and you look on Indeed and you see, Jesus, this company's always hiring people. They're always running, they're either growing really fast or they can't retain people. Right. And so that's your opportunity. You're going to go in and you're going to say, hey, I noticed that you keep running out of customer service people, or you've been having a lot of problems in your marketing department. You're always looking for a marketing manager. That's usually an indication of an employee engagement problem. This is when I'm at my best, and boom, you've got a conversation. So what's the observation that happens? When are you most relevant? And what's the question you're going to ask people? So maybe you're going to send them a message on LinkedIn or whatever. I want you to take the time to, first of all, very quickly, when do people call you in? Put it in the chat box so I can see it. What's happening in a company? What's a good trigger event for you? Is it compliance due dates? It can be a lot of things. I get called in when the founder is stuck on how to move forward. What does that look like, though? He doesn't put that in the news. I'm stuck. I can't move forward. I'm stuck. You know what I mean? That's not enough of a trigger. What is the symptom that you're looking for that shows that the founder is stuck. Unable to scale, low win rates. Okay, low win rates. So their sales are lagging. And what's causing those sales to lag? It could be, you know,
Typically, when the founder engineer is wanting to focus on the product.
Okay. All right. So how do you know that?
I do not know that except
So we
by
need to find out how you need to find a way that you can know that. So what goes on in a company? Where's the rash? There needs to be a visible rash. You see? So how do you know when for example, if you're working in a regulated industry, then you know when compliance is an issue. And you'll know that they'll have ongoing issues trying to keep things in compliance. Or there may be an industry where they have to renew a license every so many years or whatever, and that's your time to step in and make sure they've got their little ducks in a row. When a company has just replaced a CEO, you know they're going to make a lot of changes because the new CEO isn't going to keep things status quo. He was hired to make things better and different. So that can be a trigger. Tariffs are a great opportunity for fractionals because companies need to save money. And if you can show how your services help companies save money, then the tariffs become less of an issue because you're finding money for them in other places. And so the conversation you might want to open up would be, the manufacturing industry is really struggling with tariffs these days. Are you finding it hard to find money in other places? Have you thought of where in your business you could look for money? And I might be able to help you with that. And this could be your conversation. This is your opener. So I noticed such and such a trigger, and that often leads to a particular problem, which happens to be the one I solve. And I'm curious, is that something that you're dealing with right now? That is essentially the nature of the conversation. So what I want you to try and do is write a quick note to someone around that problem that you solve. I don't have as much time to
While
play
you guys
here.
are doing that, guys, I'm going to share a QR code, which is we collect NPS for all of our speakers. Renee has been so amazing. I don't want you all to leave without clicking on that link and taking the survey, scan it so you can finish it later and continue to engage with the conversation, but at least have it with you. This feedback will go a long way for both Renee and Sidebar, so we know if we want to bring her back for a more detailed workshop and whatnot. So please take a moment to do that while you're responding. I'll leave the share on for a few minutes. Sorry, Renee, didn't mean to break you.
Samaya, corporate leadership transitions. Yes. I get called in when a company just sets high revenue goals, but they realize they can't draw a line from the product to the roadmap. Okay. So Laura, what's the question you're going to ask you're going to go to LinkedIn and you're going to ask the decision maker, the key decision maker, a question around that.
I think it's something like, we're here just about to get into May. Like, you probably set ambitious annual revenue targets for 2026. Is your product roadmap helping you track towards them?
Okay. Yeah. It's just, that's it, right? It doesn't have to be, a really complicated question. It's just an understanding and reminding. When you remind people of their pain, you make it relevant to them because day to day, like that might be something that kind of niggles them, but they have a lot of other priorities. So when you come forward and you remind them of something that is kind of sitting on the back burner, you bring it forward for them. This is what happens. And I'm noticing this with companies. Are you going through this? And I have a thing that I can do to help you. Is this worth a discussion? Would you like to learn more? Would you be open to having a conversation about this? And they'll either say yay or nay, right? But if you don't reach out with something relevant, with a question that that reminds them of their pain, they won't have that meeting with you.
Right.
Where are you seeing the most repeat confusion, and what's the cost of it right now? Okay. So give that context, Allison. Repeat confusion and what? And what's the so it needs context. Trigger compliance training needed, or employees need to learn new processes or platforms fast. Okay. So you might say something like, I noticed, I know that your industry requires a certain amount of compliance training. That often leads to whatever. So here, I'm going to give you, have I got that on the,
Do you want me to go back to sharing the slides?
um,
Is this one? And I can
no,
share.
not that one. Not that one. Here. This is for everyone. So I noticed, and you put in a real trigger, and that often leads to this particular problem that you're going to solve. And I'm curious, is that something that you're dealing with right now? So your sentence can be something along that line. So I noticed that your company needs to be in compliance with such and such a thing. And that usually leads to a lot of chaos and scrambling at the end of the month. I'm wondering, is that something that you're dealing with right now? And then the guy says, yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. And you say, well, great, because blah, blah, blah. And spoiler, a little bonus, your LinkedIn profile, where your name is and so on. If you're messaging people on LinkedIn, it's very helpful if they can see right away what you do, so that when you message someone, when you're messaging your a CEO or whatever on LinkedIn, they can see that you are a product manager, or a lead gen specialist, or whatever. They need to see the area of their company that you can help them with, and then that question will land even harder.
Renee, in the interest of time, I'm going to drop the links that you shared.
Yes,
Do you want
yes,
to
please do.
talk a little bit about
Yeah.
the fractional referral network that you've created, built?
Yes. Okay. So we can move to the last slide, and if anyone wants to message me or whatever, you can find me on LinkedIn. I have to pull up my LinkedIn profile somewhere, or you can go to the Fractional Referral Network. You can book one of those. Oh wait, no, shoot. Yeah. Hang on. There. So I've put some stuff in the chat for you. So there's the client growth reset booking link if you want, and the fractional revenue diagnostic GPT, that's free. So those are two things, and then you can go to the Fractional Referral Network if you feel like joining a community. You can have access to all kinds of wonderful tools and whatnot there. And if you're a fractional and you want to sort of stand out from all the other fractionals that are claiming titles they haven't earned and so on, you can join iafpglobal.org. All right. Any questions from anybody? You're a quiet lot. You're busy working.
Because now we have like 2 minutes for the call to end, but I think that was a really engaging audience. You walked so many of them through sharpening their positioning. Hopefully, they'll try the free LLM and join the fractional network. But Renée, I will be following up with a wrap-up email. I'll reshare all of the resources that Renée just shared, her slides, and also the recording, so you guys have something to look back at when you work on these things. Renée, thank you so much for presenting to our community. Really, really appreciate it. Loved the session. It was so hands-on, and at least a handful of them are walking away with sharpening their positioning, which is fantastic.
Yes, I'm glad to know that, you know. So
Thank you all.
IASP.
Thank you, Renée. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you for joining you, everybody.